What's up, everybody? Brian Wagner, senior editor at Dragzine, here with Brian Mundy. Mundy tuned, right?
That's right.
Just got done working on Project Number Cruncher, and we had this on your hub dyno, and we did some remote tuning with Lewis from Fuel Tech. Let's talk about, for our viewers to understand, what's the difference typically between a hub dyno and your typical chassis dyno?
Well, I think that that's a common question that a lot of people have. And fortunately, I've had the experience over the years of working on both chassis, roller, hub dynos, and a variety of different makes and models. With that being said, I guess you would say, not I guess, some of the advantages of a hub-based dyno, which is what we're working with here today, we have a much more repeatable nature. So what that means is this vehicle is directly hooked up to the hubs. There's no wheel slip. The tires don't change size. We don't have to worry about a drag radial changing the different types of load. And since you've got a direct hook through the transmission to the motor, it works very similar to an engine dyno. That means I have the control of where the run starts and where it stops and making it exactly the same every time. So for today, working with Lewis at Fuel Tech, what we could do is repeatable runs, make adjustments, and know that we're seeing exactly the changes from the tune, not variations in a dyno.
And that's really important when you're tuning something, especially with a race car, to remove those X factors so you have surgical precision with how you're tuning the car.
That's correct. And so many times over the years, I've been through the situations with a higher horsepower car like what we have today, rear wheel drive, on the dyno, different conditions, where you need to try to adjust the way things are strapped down on a roller. You need to maybe put weights in the trunk. I've seen some videos where there are actually people sitting in the trunk. I wouldn't recommend anything like that.
You never do something like that.
Correct. And then another advantage that goes with the hub dyno is the model that we have here at Mundy Tune, the rear is rated for 3,000 horsepower. 3,000 horsepower repeatable runs is just not something that you can do on a roller dyno. And then today, working with Lewis at Fuel Tech, we did some dead stop runs, which you've got a video of. That'll be pretty exciting. So that means that we go straight from a stop. We can come off the trans brake, run through the gears, simulate drag runs, do things back to back, and it's really just a great time. And it gives you the confidence knowing that things are safe and controlled.
And it's not a dig on wheel dynos. There's nothing wrong with those, but it's something when you need the precision. Because you see the videos of Fuel Tech, they're doing pulling tractors, 5,000 horsepower pro mods,
right.
And you did something to start with a hub dyno that's a little bit different. You kind of had to sight this in like a precision firearm, didn't you?
That's correct. So the comment that I made, we've got a direct drive between the wheel hub speed and the speed that the engine is running. So when we configure these cars at first, we're not relying just on a tack pickup like a traditional dyno does. Once that's configured and set, and it does take a little time to set it up correctly, it gives us the ability to start and stop at different RPMs. So for example, on this car, or any car, we could pick, let's just say 4,000 RPM or 4,500 RPM. We run it to 4,500 RPM, it's gonna stop. I can apply full throttle to the car all the way up to 3,000 horsepower and it holds still. That gives the tuner, Fuel Tech in this case, the ability to look at the maps, make the adjustments with the precision that's required. In fact, the hub dynos, they're a little bit newer, right? The roller dynos, an older design. Since these have been on the market, companies like Fuel Tech have been using these as a precision tool. I've had the capability to use a hub dyno for several years, and it gives us the advantage to not only make changes, but also push the industry in a new direction.
And speaking from a tuner standpoint, not just a dyno owner-operator standpoint, how does having the hub dyno help you with these higher horsepower cars?
Well, there's several things. I don't have a list of bullet points, but one of them is precision. So when a customer comes to Mundy Tuned, I want to make sure that I deliver a quality product. So I need a quality and precision tool to do that. That's one of the things that the hub dyno provides. The other is safety. And I'm not talking about safety, a roller dyno debate. I'm talking about having a dyno. You don't want to be out on the street trying to drive things, breaking the speed limit. These cars today can easily surpass 1,000 or more horsepower. It's just not safe. And then the other thing that the hub dyno allows us to do is really that steady state tuning with big horsepower. I get a lot of domestic rear-wheel drive street cars. So for example, it's not out of the range of possibilities for a Dodge Hellcat, for example, to make 1,000 horsepower pretty easily. and being able to properly dial in that calibration by holding it in a steady state at different RPMs, adjusting the air-fuel ratio and the timing to look at the maximum brake torque, you just can't do it without a tool like this.
And that's the thing I think you need to stress too, is that dynos are tools. It's not the end all be all.
Right.
You know, and kind of, you saw what we talked about when you came in, that we had this car at the track, it just wasn't happy. Tuning at the track, we had to burn through a lot of fuel, a lot of time, a lot of spark plugs. And that's the other advantage of having a hub dyno for a race car, is we made, what, 3 or 4 pulls, and this thing was lights out, ready to go.
That's correct. And when you talk about the weekend bracket racer all the way to alcohol dragster, we do get customers in here from mild to wild, and that's a great benefit for them. Because the flip side of the coin is, if they're having issues at the track, you've got to try to make it, when you have a window for test and tune, you got to hope you don't break. You got to hope nobody else breaks. The track conditions are what they want, and those track conditions aren't going to stay similar even in the same day. Or you can come in here and now have a 2,000 plus horsepower vehicle that you would run at the track. You can come in for a 4-hour block, 6-hour block, and make 6, 10, 12 pulls, make all the adjustments that you need to make in a safe and controlled environment.
And you mentioned bracket racers and stuff like that. That's something that, you know, any racer could really use the hub dyno as a tool locally if they have access to it. We can make a trip to one, because you have that controlled environment where you can see what the car is going to like. You can make a jet change, you can make a pulley change on a blower car. That way you're not wasting time at the track.
Yes, and one other advantage of the hub dyno is, since we can come take off from a dead stop, we can use a trans brake, for example, or anti-lag if it's a turbo application. But another big benefit that we've realized over the last several years is the ability to adjust transmissions and shift points. With a lot of the newer transmissions that are out there, we have Allison's 6 speeds, 8 speeds, and even 10 speeds. There's a lot of things that go on in the programming, and we have the ability here on this dyno to stop from run from a dig or a dead stop and shift through all of the gears, adjust those shift points, and then see exactly what it does with the horsepower, just like we did with yours and that big torque that it made.
Yeah, we'll have that video posted up later, but you know, if anybody has any questions about hub dyno related stuff, where, you know, they want to hit you up, where they can hit you up at?
Hashtag MundyTuned is the best place to start with my call sign, and then www.mundytune.com. It's an easy to get to website. I have a frequently asked questions section on there. Contact me directly, and then bullet points on what to expect to prepare for a dyno.
There you have it, folks. If you've got a race car that you really want to dial in, hit up Mundy or hit up any other local hub dyno to get that car dialed in, to get it where you need it.